God, how good was Jerry West? Look at that graphic.
It's on, yeah.
When he was going to talk about, we're going to talk about eras in a second, but
it's
look
also
at the other player. Look at this.
No,
Jordan, LeBron, Giannis, and Steph.
And Jerry West.
And
then here's the thing. He played with Gail Goodrich, who was a big scorer. So it wasn't like Jerry's team. Gail Goodrich, they were the best backcourt ever until Steph and Clay. And then he also played with Wilt. So it's not like this was like a Luka situation where it's like Jerry's going to get his. He didn't win a lot of finals. He was getting to them.
And that was from 1960 to 1974. A completely different era of basketball.
He wasn't shooting threes.
Yes. It's the reason he's the logo.
Yeah.
So the Heat and Celtics face off in Game 6 tonight. It's feeling very bleak for Miami. Feels like the walk in Game of Thrones, the shame walk.
They're not the Heat. I always said you should be able to say Miami. They're yours.
Yeah.
They're yours.
They are Miami Heat. Look, they got a chance. They have a chance. They have about an 18% chance of making it to a Game 7 and making it to the finals. They can force a Game 7 tonight.
Are they a 7.5-point dog?
They are a 8.5-point dog.
Oh my!
That
is a number.
Yeah, the Celtics are favored by 8.5, but. It is a number, but when you look at the way that the Heat have been shooting, it's not really surprising.
And I don't know if Tyler Hero's going to play. He's questionable.
He's questionable. He has a groin strain. That's not one of those things you can rush back from. So I wouldn't expect to see him.
I don't think he's going to play.
Kyle Lowry's been struggling since he returned from injury. Jimmy Butler says he feels fine despite the knee inflammation, but he's scored 19 points over the last 2 games on 7 of 32 shooting. They shot an NBA best at the Heat, 38% from three-point line during the regular season, but they're shooting 29% in the conference finals. They just can't get points. They cannot score. So when you combine that with the fact that Boston has a great defense and is scoring, these games have been ugly. It's been difficult to watch.
Yeah, it's a classic great defensive team, struggling offensive team.
Yes.
It's a bad matchup. Right now in this moment, it's a bad matchup. By the way, this was Milwaukee. Chris Middleton's out. Great defensive team with an offensive team without their best shooter.
Right.
That became a very bad matchup for Milwaukee in the end.
Yeah, and look, injuries play a role in everyone's run throughout the postseason, so the Heat aren't using that as an excuse. The guys on the floor should be scoring more than they are. Like there are bodies on the floor that have shown the capability of putting up points, and no one's able to do that. So injuries play a role. It's not an excuse. The Celtics have had injuries as well, so has everyone else throughout the playoffs. But I'm going to hold out a little hope. Hold out hope, not because of culture, not because of coaching, just they have the capability of forcing a Game 7. Boston looks like the better, more complete, healthier team right now, but we'll find out tonight if there is going to be a Game 7. So, speaking of eras, we were just talking about Jerry West. Today's NBA is a different league than it was before for many different reasons, and there are critics over which era was better and, some of the changes that have occurred over the years. And Hall of Famer James Worthy is the latest former player to call out the current generation of stars.
And I think because of the rush of guys not going to college. I mean, Kareem had 4 years with John Wooden. Michael Jordan and I had 3 years with Dean Smith. Isaiah had some years with Bobby Knight. So you learn the fundamentals. Not only that, you learn how to live. You learn how to balance your freaking checkbook in college. There's a lot of things. So when you don't get that, guys are coming to the NBA. They're not fundamentally sound. So all they do is practice threes, lift weights, get tattoos, and tweet and go on social media. That's it.
Well, I will say this. He's right about the threes. It's become like it is. It gets a little old guy.
It is. It's very get off. The first part of it, he has a really strong point.
No question.
So it's kind of 2 quotes, but we play the whole thing. The last part of it is very get off my lawn guy.
Yeah.
But the first part of it, he's not exactly wrong as far as the development, the fundamentals. I mean, we talk all the time that there are players who come to the league. They're very young. Their bodies aren't completely developed. They don't have the fundamentals down. It's just the game of basketball, and especially the speed that it picks up and the men that are clashing into each other on the NBA level is so different from 1 year of college or coming out of high school. So from that perspective, he's right. And the college game was better when guys stayed longer.
Oh, yeah.
You got to learn the players more. That is a benefit that the NFL has with college football. But things change, and the game is never going back to that. It's not going to adjust back to that. So to me, NBA teams need to do a better job of really putting together strong development coaches for young players and programs.
Listen, it's basketball would be better at all levels if there was legislation that said you can't come out for 3 years. But the world changes, so I'm not going to fight it.
Right.
Listen, we'd be a lot better in America if an 18-year-old couldn't buy an AR-15. We're trying to change that. Good luck. I mean, there's a lot of things in society I just don't like. I think basketball was better when college basketball was better, when it wasn't so transactional. And I do think it's better that even if you're great, if you had to stay in college for a couple years and you were kind of hard coached a little bit,
right,
I think you'd come into the league more fulfilled, more. But that's not the way the world is.
Like it's kind of a waste of a conversation because it's not going to change back. It's not happening.
That stuff doesn't go backwards.
Right. So, and it is what it is. And the college game is fine. It's been what it's been for 10 years. We watch it during the tournaments, and that's that. Now, the other part of it is, obviously, like that's kind of cranky, like getting tattoos and being on social media. I will say, though, the balancing the checkbook thing I would push back on as well. We have mountains of evidence that these college teams were not setting guys up for success when it comes to how to manage money. Like, we have whole documentaries on how bad that was. So I would really actually argue that today's players, and now with NIL, are way more equipped to manage their money, set up businesses outside of basketball, and because of guys like Magic and LeBron and Michael, for that matter, showing how much wealth you can acquire by taking care of your money and putting it in businesses in the right places and having the right people around you, you can create an entire industry around yourself.
Yeah, I mean, life's cyclical. We saw so many stories on pro athletes going broke.
Right.
That athletes watched those documentaries too and thought, I want to get my stuff together. So, they used to run stories regularly on NBA and NFL players out of money. I haven't read one of those in a while, and I'm sure they exist. You can send them to me. But
there's outliers with everything.
But kids are learning now.
Yes.
Let's put money. Like, there's a trend. Gronk and KG were kind of legendary for it. They don't spend any of their money.
Yes.
There are guys now that are like legendarily frugal and cheap as pro athletes.
They live off of their endorsements
yeah,
and don't even touch their salary. So I would say that has definitely changed. Kevin Durant tweeted in response, "My MIDI is sharp, but James is right. This ain't the old days." LOL. So we're at week 7 of the USFL, and all 8 teams are still in contention for the playoffs. But this weekend, 2 teams have a chance to clinch their spot. The Birmingham Stallions will secure their place with a win over the Pittsburgh Maulers, and the Tampa Bay Bandits and a Tampa Bay Bandits loss to the New Jersey Generals. And the Generals would clinch their spot with a win or with losses from both the Maulers and the Michigan Panthers. The inaugural USFL playoffs will begin Saturday, June 25th. As the top 2 teams in each division will face each other in the league's semifinals. So the final 2 teams will play in the USFL championship game on Sunday, July 3rd. So this is the USFL schedule for week 7. The Generals and Tampa Bay Bandits, Breakers, and Michigan Panthers at 9 Eastern on FS1 tomorrow. And then Sunday on Fox, the Birmingham Stallions and the Pittsburgh Maulers at 2 Eastern on Fox, and the Stars and Gamblers at 6 Eastern.
Good stuff, Joy, with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Line News.
Buy or sell a car from your happy place today at driveway.com. Think about your happy place. Sofa on game day. Maybe it's a crisp morning on the golf tee. Wherever it is, Driveway lets you buy or sell your car from that place. They have one of the largest selections of new and used cars available. Driveway.com lets you browse, finance, and purchase wherever, whenever, and however makes you happy. Driveway.com. If you're looking to sell your car, Driveway makes selling your car simple. They offer an instant and competitive offer on their website, Driveway.com. If you decide to take it, they come to your driveway and pick it up. It all starts from your happy place, wherever that is. Buy or sell a car at driveway.com. 250,000 cars, new and used. Financing on approved credit.